I wish that I had just punched someone in the face to get through a problem.
Link start.
I'm about to get cancelled for this.
I suck dick, alright?
Every guy I met who hadn't watched What's Up?
He's my husband.
Also, there's a lot of horniness, which is so gross. Ew.
I don't know.
The best anime is clearly...
Yeah.
How's it going, everyone? This is the Anime Man. The greatest anime ever made. What do you think that is? It's a fairly simple question that usually evokes a rather difficult answer. Because when put on the spot, not a lot of people are very quick to decide what they think the greatest anime ever made is, or even their favorite anime of all time. Especially if you are a big anime watcher such as myself. But considering that every single time I go to a convention, every single time I meet up with one of you guys, usually the first question people ask me is, "Hey Joey, what do you think the greatest anime ever made is? What is even your favorite anime? Do you even watch anime anymore?" I'm sure that that question is asked not only to every single AnimeUproar out there, but just every single YouTuber out there. And considering that the love for anime in general has just spread like wildfire within the YouTube community, I figured I would start a little social experiment. Or I guess a mega collab that I didn't think was going to be possible, but if you're watching this video, then I guess it happened. That's right, as the title suggests, I asked 100 YouTubers what they think the greatest anime ever made was. And if they can't tell me what they think the greatest anime ever made was, I just ask them, what's your favorite anime? In the hopes that I can show the internet that, hey, you know what? Liking anime is pretty goddamn cool. Perhaps Japanese cartoons isn't so much of a niche as we always thought it was. But before that, I would just like to, quickly apologize to you guys because yes, in true YouTube fashion, I did in fact just clickbait you with this title. I'm sorry guys. I'm so sorry. In fact, I clickbaited you in two different ways. Let me explain. One, although the title says 100 YouTubers, not every person I got in this video is in fact a YouTuber. Some of them are Twitch streamers, some of them are cosplayers, some of them are virtual YouTubers, some of them are voice actors. It's kind of a mixed bag. And the second bit of clickbait is, of course, the big number in the title. A lot of you are probably thinking, Joey, there's no way in hell you managed to collect 100 people for this video. And if you thought that, you are absolutely right, because I didn't collect 100 people. I collected 107. You just got reverse clickbaited, let's go. But hey, this video is probably gonna take a while to get through, so why not grab a snack, sit down, and enjoy the show while it lasts. And if you're looking for some great snacks, then don't worry, I've got the perfect snack box for you. That's right, it's the folks over at Boxu, the sponsor for today's video. Boxu is a monthly subscription service that delivers premium Japanese snacks and tea pairings straight from Japan to your door, and each Boxu features a new theme where all of the snacks and tea pairings fit that particular theme. And with it being the month of May, we have Midori Moments. With Japanese lesson, Midori means green. You're welcome. And with it being Midori Moments, the green moments, you better believe when we think Japan and green, we think of two things. One is green tea, and two is matcha. And you better believe Boxu has plenty of those. We've got these Uji matcha waffles as well as some yuzu green tea to pair with. But green Japanese snacks go a lot further than that. We even have these sudachi gummies straight from the Tokushima prefecture. Sudachi is like a Japanese fruit that's a combination between a lemon and a lime, and they have these cute little gummies here as well. Oh man, these are actually really, really good. So you can try all of that and a whole lot more. Bring Japan to your door with Boxu. And for you lads and chads watching this video and supporting your boy, if you use my coupon code AnimeMan15, you get $15 off your first Boxu order. That's a steal, yo. But thank you to Boxu for sponsoring this video. Make sure to grab a snack and enjoy the video. So like any good trend, let me start it off with the question. What do you think is the greatest anime ever made? I'll go first. It's a very difficult question, but short answer would probably have to be Serial Experiments Lane. Yes, it is a little more underground and kind of the pretentious anime fans pick, but I genuinely believe it is one of the most artistic and haunting experiences that you could ever feel from a piece of animation. The fact that a show like this was made back in 1998 and yet it is more relevant today than it ever was just goes to show, I think, its staying power. And the fact that it predicted the future of social media rotting the brains of the youths before social media on the internet was even a thing. To say that Serial Experiments Lain was ahead of its time is an understatement, because it wasn't just ahead of its time because of the message that it tried to portray. The animation style, sound design, narrative exploration, and the beautiful art style by Yoshitoshi Abe, it's just everything that I want in an artistic anime. This is a show that I've probably rewatched close to a dozen times, and yet every single time I rewatch it, every single time I read more into it, the more new things I manage to uncover and discover. This isn't exactly an anime that I would recommend to newcomers of anime, or even experienced watchers of anime, because you do have to kind of watch it at the right place at the right time. But if you want to see the most raw and gritty artistic expression done in Japanese cartoons, then I think Serial Experiments Lain is definitely at the top of that list. But that's my answer, and here is everyone else's. Baby, gotta ask you a question. What do you think the greatest anime ever made is?
I farted. I don't know, SpongeBob?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
My favorite anime of all time is none other than One Piece, because it's honestly more than a series. It's an experience, a way of life, and above all else, it's really just not that long at all.
Oh damn, the best anime. If you had said manga, nah. I'm still gonna go with One Piece. Doesn't have the seamless pacing like, say, Full Metal Alchemist, nor that sweet and juicy animation like Demon Slayer, but world building wise, One Piece is not only the best anime for me, but one of the best works of fiction, period. Now, while it understandably feels like a very daunting task getting into over 1,000 episodes of a story, I barely know anyone who didn't get super hooked after trying. It's full to the brim with mystery, incredible characters, and heartfelt emotions. So yeah, One Piece.
Definitely have to say my favorite anime is One Piece. Past few months I picked it up recently. It's just so immersive, I feel like the world building in the show is top of its class, and I just love how compelling all the character backstories are, and how the adventure of them coming from kind of simple beginnings to where they end up in the entire grand scheme of things is just a crazy ass story that I just love how Oda tells us.
My favorite anime of all time is One Piece. Of course it's One Piece. I love the world building, I love the characters, I love everything about it. I just adore it, and I love all the emotional beats that I still remember fondly and I'm still experiencing to this day. When I went to Tokyo Tower in Japan, and they had that like little One Piece thing there in Tokyo Tower, which isn't there anymore. You enter into a room and it plays all of like the manga panels, like animated, and it's like the history of One Piece. And I was standing there, just crying my eyes out because of how much I love One Piece.
If I had to choose a favorite, it would easily be One Piece for several reasons. Characters are so well developed and extremely likable. You just fall in love with so many of them. I just found that none of the episodes felt like filler episodes. They were all equally as exciting and entertaining to watch, and I just found it so addictive. I would binge like episode after episode. I have really good memories of watching it.
だけど僕は幸せだった。今まで大切にしてくれてどうもありがとう。
One Piece. It's One Piece.
My favourite anime is GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka. It's a story about an ex-biker gang member who becomes a teacher at a school, and he does that by virtue of the fact that he wants a teenage wife. A little bit questionable, probably wouldn't get commissioned outside of Japan, but I love it for 3 reasons. Number 1, it deals with genuinely serious subjects like bullying, suicide, sexual abuse, and Onizuka himself, he deals with these problems using his sort of unconventional methods, usually by just punching someone in the face. Number 2, I like it because I myself was a teacher when I watched GTO, and I saw a lot of the issues in my everyday life, and I wished that I had an Onizuka figure, someone who didn't play by the rules, someone who, again, just punched someone in the face to get through a problem. And number 3, I love it because it has the best theme tune of any anime, Driver's High by Larkensiel. And when I got to meet Hyde from Larkensiel, the singer who performs it, I got to thank him personally for just making the greatest song ever. For those reasons, GTO, check it out, it's amazing.
Dude, there's so many I could name right now. Like Psycho-Pass, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Attack on Titan, Gintama is freaking hilarious. There's Trigun, which is a blast from the past. But if I had to name a special one, I think it would be Great Teacher Onizuka. I watched that only once when I was a kid, and it changed me. That anime is so stupid on one side, but also so wise and philosophic in the other, and it draws you in with the fun, but then it hits you with the wisdom. Also, I still got the openings of that show stuck in my head after all these years.
Hunter, Hunter. Okay, every arc is completely different, new characters, new story, but it also introduces completely new concepts of like how to fight, what it even means to fight, and also the main characters kind of change, like who the main character is. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because the characters are so well written. It's pretty long, but I always watch the full thing at least once every year.
Very rewatchable for sure.
Yeah, so Togashi Hunter Hunter, baby.
Mine is JoJo. With
Good
JoJo
call.
tattoos, we can't really say
That's true.
anything else. I really like and respect Arc Sensei's kind of creativity and imagination when it comes to JoJo. It seems like he poured everything in that series. I honestly don't know where it comes from. Like, how does he think of these in the first place?
Nobody knows. Scientists are on it right now.
Joey, the animation gentleman, asked me a question. Which anime is the best of all time? So many things to choose from. The art style, the storyline, the characters, the overall theme, the dub qual... No, don't say that.
Is it Attack on Titan? In compelling storyline, excellent character development, art style. Who knows what could happen the next episode? Everyone could die. Everyone could live. Nobody knows. It's the first anime that made me read the manga. But no, this is not it. Is it Evangelion? Where it all started. My first anime. Absolutely chilling. Nightmares as a kid. Excellent character. Well, some of the character. Well, I mean, the robots are cool. But no, there can only be one choice. It has to be JoJo. Excellent humor. Wonderful characters, art style on point. Doesn't try to copy anything else, doesn't try to emulate, just does its own thing and in style. There's a reason why this guy is the most handsome character ever made, and he's gonna stay that way for all time. Look at him. The anime character. The anime. Perfect in every way.
My favorite anime is... And to nobody's surprise, it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but it might not be for the reasons why you think. Yes, I love the show, I love the plot of JoJo, I suck dick, alright? JoJo to me is so much more about its style and what it offers to anime and manga as a whole, and the fact that so many anime and manga have referenced JoJo's is a testament to just how influential it is. You know something's JoJo, and it doesn't give a fuck about being JoJo. And also, come on, I mean, the fights are just so goddamn insane, and they have some of the most hype and most absurd, bizarre fights in all of anime and manga. I'm always smiling when I'm watching or reading JoJo.
The best anime I've ever seen is Fullmetal Alchemist. As the original Anime Zone trademark, Fullmetal Alchemist is one of the greatest stories ever told. For anime, it's a classic among classic. For the rest of my life, I'll never forget the story of Ed, Alphonse, Roy Mustang, Hughes, Risa, I think that's the character, for the rest of my life. And that's why, to me, Fullmetal Alchemist is the greatest anime ever made.
On my top 10 list, Haikyuu, Attack on Titan, Steins Gate, you know, A Silent Voice. These are all up there, but there's only one anime that truly deserves the top spot, and that's Sword Art Online.
Link start.
I believe the best anime to be Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. First things first, we have to differentiate the difference between your personal favorite anime and what is the best anime. My personal favorite anime is actually Hunter x Hunter, but we have to put our personal feelings aside and acknowledge truly what is the best of the best, and I believe that to be FMA Brotherhood. Why? Story, great story, original, pacing from start to finish, paced incredibly well, characters unique in design, and also the way they're written. I'm never bored when it comes to all the side characters. Speaking of characters, waifu, Rinri, Rockbell, Hawkeye, Riza, Gluttony, whatever floats your boat, incredible selection of waifus, animation, animated incredibly well. from start to finish. Along that, the action is balanced incredibly well with the plot points, the writing, a good balance. It's not just eye candy. And also the feel. This one's a little hard to explain. Just the aesthetic of it. And also, very importantly so, it has an ending. It starts and it ends. And the ending is great. You're not yearning for more. They put a cap on it and they say it's done, which you really have to respect nowadays. So all things considered, that is why I truly believe Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the best anime of all time.
In my opinion, the best anime of all time is Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist! I grew up reading the manga with my sister, so it's very nostalgic for me, but I love the plot, I love the characters, I love Armstrong, I love Ed, I love Alphonse, I love them all. It's just very dear to my heart and I watch it over and over again. Big fan. 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna have to say Dragon Ball Z because I challenge you to name one other anime about buff dudes beating the hell out of other buff dudes. Didn't think so.
I already know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I gotta go with Dragon Ball Z. You know, in the 30 years since it's come out, there are a lot of anime with better pacing, cleaner art, more complex narratives, but none of them will ever have anything nearly as cool as a Super Saiyan transformation.
There's actually so much to choose from, but I think it would be Bleach because it's one of the first few animes that I started watching when I was back in Australia. For those who haven't seen Bleach, please do because it's really great. The characters are so awesome. My favorite is Ichimaru Ging, but yeah, there's so many awesome characters out there, so please watch it if you haven't already. And it's one of the animes that made me want to become a seiyuu in Japan. So if I hadn't watched Bleach, I wouldn't be doing what I do right now in Japan. So yeah, that's my personal favorite.
My favorite anime of all time is Bleach. What can I say? The characters are... But I think the best anime of all time is probably Death Note.
The pacing itself is so intense that every episode itself packs so much information into it that some anime take an entire season to provide to you. But somehow the information is presented in a way where it doesn't overwhelm you. Also, bonus points for being extremely memeable. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. To people who say anime is trash, your name please. The end is near. Also, Joey, you're paying me more since I'm appearing on camera instead of just editing this, right?
Wow, Joe, that's a tough question because I have seen so many anime, but my favorite one, it's funny, I can't even remember the name, but I can describe it. So it's about a guy, he gets a girlfriend, his dad is in the police. He has a diary, I think, and he was always writing stuff in it. He loves that fucking diary. He's always carrying it with him wherever he goes. And then he's at school and he makes friends with this autistic kid. He's good at tennis. I can't remember. The funny thing is, it's actually a derivative of another manga, which was originally called Gay Note. And Gay Note is, the premise is, if anyone writes your name in it, you become gay. And so this guy, Tight Yagami, he finds it, and then he gets caught in this head-to-head with this guy called LGBTQ, and alright, in all seriousness, favorite anime, my favorite is that 2-minute compilation you sometimes see on Twitter of just food being made by Studio Ghibli. That one, that's my favorite one.
Being completely honest, I think One Punch Man. Saitama is a hilariously comical character in the anime world, and I find it very refreshing when I see that type of comedy because normally everything's just great stories and blood and gore and sadness, and then all of a sudden you have Saitama come in and he's like this comedic relief.
I'm about to get canceled for this. My favorite anime is One Punch Man because it's the only anime I've ever finished. And I know that that's really, really, really bad, and I should watch more anime, and that's not even the best anime, and there's so many things. It's just the only anime that I've ever watched all the way through.
Is definitely Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. And yes, that is the only acceptable way of pronouncing it. It starts off as this crazy over-the-top action shonen, which is fun, but then around episode 8, things take a crazy turn. After that, we get twist after twist, and the stakes just keep going higher and higher until they literally cannot go any higher. I love the plot, I love the characters, I love the music, but the thing that I love the most about Gurren Lagann is how much it motivates me in real life. I mean, who needs like Gary Vee and shit when you have Kamina?
Believe it or not, you guys, it's actually not JoJo. My favorite has gotta be Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. That anime has been with me for more than half of my existence. It's a part of my own like belief system at this point. It's a very core piece of me. It sounds corny as fuck, but that's the truth. That's the truth. Just wanted to let you know.
I think for me, my favorite anime is always going to be Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, because when I was in middle school, I was going through a rut. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my future. You know, most middle schoolers don't. The message of the show, it really spoke to me, you know, like doing the impossible and throwing all logic to the wind and just trying your best at what you really want to do and just go for it. Honestly, I think it helped me become a voice actor. I don't know if I would be in my position that I am now without that show. It definitely was a big part of, you know, where I am today.
My favorite anime is Gurren Lagann. It's the tale of persistence, perseverance, and overcoming great loss. One of the reasons this show has a special place in my heart is because a friend of mine, he was an animator, and we bonded over how incredible the show's animation was and just how powerful the message of the show, which was like always moving forward, truly was. The same friend had a way with always silencing any doubt I had about pursuing my dreams as an animator. He was so driven. If he told you that you could do something, you truly, truly believed it. Then, to all of our disbelief, he passed away due to a tragic accident. After my friend's passing, I found myself watching Gurren Lagann again. It was the story of a young man overcoming the tragic loss of his own friend and then growing into a person that he could have been proud of. I'll never forget what Gurren Lagann did for me to pull me out of that really dark place. It meant a lot to me and my friend Monty. This was hard to record. Anime's fucking awesome.
I don't know why this is controversial, but my favorite anime is actually Sword Art Online. Yeah, season 1 specifically. When I first started watching anime, maybe like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, I watched it and it really reminded me of WoW. Like I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft. It really like brought me back. I don't know why. Like I could tie it together and it just like, I was like, dude, like imagine if this was WoW. Like, oh, like I don't know. Yeah, you know, hot take, but honestly, it's probably the best anime of all time. Yeah, seriously.
For me, my favorite anime, I've gone ahead and I've picked Attack on Titan. The reason being is because it's just a great series. Every episode is left open with questions that need answering. It's just a world of mystery, and that's why I love it. I love watching something where every episode I'm asking more and more questions. Not to mention the music. My God, Attack on Titan. If you ever have a chance, you haven't even watched the series, I definitely recommend you go listen to the soundtracks for Attack on Titan. The music that comes out of that show is just spectacular. Even sometimes I find myself on the freeway just, you know, bopping my head to the opening themes. So, yeah, favorite anime? Attack on Titan.
Joey Shonen, watashi ga kita. How can you do this to me, Joey? Like asking me, a real life anime character, what is my favorite anime of all times? How can I reply? How can I give you a reply? I got this. Attack on Titan, because it's a masterpiece and because it's full of lots of details that you watch the first season, you recognize in the last season and whatsoever. No spoilers, only villains do that. My first anime ever, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because you will see. And last but not least, Boku no Hero Academia, because of the concept of living and becoming a pillar of positivity and motivation for the next one, becoming a hero, believing in yourself, just like Kamina, Aniki, Gurren Lagann, which by the way, I recommend to all of you watching.
Re:Zero. It is an excellent series that stands out. If I'm not even counting the second season that recently aired that is just out of this world great, the voice acting of Re:Zero is absolutely stacked. Like, the amount of love that each individual voice actor has for their character within Re:Zero is out of this world. It blows my mind today. But one thing that really just kind of summarizes it all, though, is that it is clearly a passion project from the entire staff that worked on it, and the voice actors to the animators, everyone.
My favorite anime probably has to be Re:Zero. I mean, what's there not to like about Re:Zero? You got waifus, you got cute traps, and waifus? Why wouldn't you love Re:Zero? It's an amazing isekai anime about a guy who has to struggle, he's not overpowered, and he has to basically work hard to get what he wants. That perfect ending, he's got to get it. The animation's great, the music's amazing, and the characters are chef's kiss. I know people are gonna be like, that just came out. Oh, that's pretty mid. In my opinion, I think it's probably one of the best animes ever. The story is absolutely amazing. The characters are detailed. Animation and art is great throughout the entire show. The way they told their story and how they introduced characters and everything really brought me into the world. So Mushoku Tensei, in my opinion, is the best anime.
So mine is Steins Gate. The performances in both Japanese and English are incredible. The writing is impeccable. More than any other show that I've seen, it is able to take a topic that's very cerebral, very heady, time travel, and add a human element to it. I think this show does a better job at doing that than any other that I've seen, and for that reason, I choose Steins Gate.
So 70 plus episodes about boxing might sound boring, especially when you're not into sports anime. But Hajime no Ippo is godlike. It has everything. Comedy, romance, amazing action, great music, especially that super banger of an opening. Plus, it has an amazing cast of unique characters. They're all funny and likable. They go through amazing character development. They go through tragedy, heartbreak, triumph, defeats. And I ended up rooting for all of them, to be honest. I love all the characters. You don't even have to know anything about boxing to enjoy this anime. It's just that good. It's just really entertaining. It's super funny. Like, Hajime no Ippo is comedy gold.
My favorite anime of all time is Kuroko no Basuke. Sports anime have always been a favorite of mine, and I think what all of the really great sports anime do is balance the heart of the characters with the spirit of the sport itself. And Kuroko, for me, totally nails that. The animation as the show goes on is incredible. Voice acting is incredible. Character development, openings are incredible. Kisei is incredible. There's just so much incredibleness about the series. Overall, it's just a solid, fun, heartwarming story about boys who just want to play basketball with friendship. And that's all it needs to be, and I love it so much.
My favorite anime is Mind Game, directed by Masaaki Yuasa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm white. It's about a dude given free reign to make the craziest animated movie you probably will ever see. It's about life, love, overcoming all obstacles, gaining confidence, coming of age, but it's also about a dude who gets a gun shoved up his ass and gets fucking murdered. He then meets God, who is a figure which changes his appearance every second because we cannot comprehend him. He is a being that we do not know. If you want to see some crazy ass animation where the art style and things kind of shift like every scene, go watch Mind Game.
When it comes to favorite animes, there's so many to choose from. Like, all of them are in a victory royale, like a fucking battle royale, like Gintama jumping to tilted towers, Lucky Stars going to the planes and shit. But the one who gets the victory royale in the end is Hibiki Euphonium. They reached that #1 spot. I don't know why I'm using a Fortnite analogy, but I'm sticking to it. Suck my dick. So, Hibiki Euphonium exceeds expectations. It tells a mature story that I did not expect when I went into an anime about fucking band club, basically. Something else that also sticks out to me is the voice direction, because there's huge differences between like indoor voices and outdoor voices. Like, indoor voices are actually indoor voices and outdoor voices are actually outdoor voices. The music performances are they're immaculate. The band scenes are really good as well, because like they actually put a lot of detail into that, especially when it comes to like, if someone's like off timing, they will be actually off timing and all that shit, blah blah blah. So okay, I'm gonna start rambling now. Hibiki Euphonium, watch Hibiki Euphonium, watch Hibiki Euphonium, please. Watch Hibiki Euphonium, watch Hibiki Euphonium.
So I picked two favorite anime series only because one of them is the one where you watch once a decade, you come back to it and you be like, okay, that's still the GOAT. Then the other anime series is bite-sized adventures and you just love the characters and is super rewatchable. So the first one would be Clannad After Story. Yeah, I know, very popular choice, but I love what I love. It resonates with me because before I started watching anime, I did not know that you could cry to anime before. I literally cried at the end of every episode of Clannad After Story. It was just ridiculous. I just discovered I was a huge pussy, man. Okay, and then my next favorite bite-sized fun adventures is Ranma 1.5. I love all the characters. Every time they get splashed by water, they transform into a cute little animal. Ranma turns into a girl, gets himself into funny conflicts because, some dudes are just thirsty for him. It's funny.
To get the coveted favorite in my book, it's none other than the anime and manga legend herself, Rumiko Takahashi's Ranma 1/2. There's nothing above her to me. Between all the unique characters, the art style, the quirky humor, you really can't go wrong with a feel-good anime that stands the test of time and makes you smile no matter how old you are.
My favorite anime is Monster by Urasawa Naoki. I love its setting, characters, and plot, but the real reason I love it so much is because of its straightforward, focused storytelling. There are no filler episodes that you could just throw away, no abrupt flashbacks or parallel universes to tie up any loose ends, and the series never ever breaks character. Monster has a serious story that it tells in a serious way, and that's why it's my favorite anime.
This is a series that I've read the entirety of the manga of, as well as watched the entirety of the anime of, and for me, that is none other than the best anime, or best series really in the world, Monster. Now initially I got into Monster because I am a big fan of true crime, but as you start to dig into a bit more of the story, you realize it is much, much more than that. We see people grow from innocent to cold, to malicious to repentant. It is also a series where you truly can't predict what happens. No other series exists like Monster, and I am grateful every single day that I got to consume it in my lifetime, and that I have my entire life to consume it over and over again.
My favorite anime would have to be Ghost in the Shell, because I'm a huge fan of stories that explore what it means to be human. There's some great action. I'm a huge sucker for sci-fi, and the animation is beautiful. I love the aesthetic of the show. I love how they use futuristic tech to solve all sorts of problems. It's a very unique and creative show. So yeah, that's my answer.
There's like 3 that come to the top of my head. So the first one is Nichijou. I think Nichijou is super funny. It's hilarious. I had a really fun time watching it. It's incredibly entertaining. Animation goes hard. Banger openings. And then we have Cardcaptor Sakura, which also has a banger soundtrack, and it's gorgeous, and it's, you know, classic Maho shoujo. There's a lot of nostalgia attached to why Cardcaptor Sakura is my favorite, and I think for like most Cardcaptor Sakura fans, it's a lot of nostalgia too. And my third favorite is Fruits Basket, of course. It's always been one of my favorites, also for nostalgic reasons. I've never felt so emotionally attached to a bunch of characters. You know, it explores a lot of different relationships, and even though it's, you know, super dramatic, which usually isn't what I'm into, I love it a lot.
There is one anime that just sticks out to me as my forever favorite, and that is Fruits Basket. I think the way that the show navigates like a lot of subjects like friendship and romance, contrasted with more heavier focuses like the tragedy of loss and the need for belonging, it makes for this like crazy midlife crisis roller coaster that you strap yourself in for. You're not ready for it because you just wanted to watch this really cute looking anime, and it's not that. It is cute, but you're in for something completely different. And there's one thing that I have taken away from her as a person. It's this rice ball analogy that she says in one of the episodes. And the analogy is basically along the lines of that sometimes we look at ourselves and we just see something plain and that there's nothing special there, when actually you have the prettiest glowing plum and it's delicious and it's on your back and everyone admires it and sees how special you are, but you can't because it's on your back. But just know that people see you and see your worth. The ultimate takeaway from Fruits Basket is the world can be cruel, but it's not deprived of kindness, and I think that is why it is my favorite. Also, the Doctor's hot. The Doctor's really hot. All the characters are hot. They're really hot.
Fruits Basket! Oh my god, that's the best one. Hands down. Most wholesome shit ever. And it made me cry a lot. I like anime that makes me cry.
If I had to pick a favorite anime, it would probably have to be Cardcaptor Sakura. There are a lot of reasons to like CCS, but I think I can boil it down to the fact that I just like all of the characters in it. Whether they are friends of Sakura, family, or even villains to her, everyone gets redeemed in some sort of way that just seems very rewarding. I would hope so for a show that is 70 episodes long, and 2 movies, and another series that's 24 episodes long. There's great action, awesome romance, great animation. It's a madhouse show. Boatloads of character development, and it's also kind of cool that Sakura wears something different every single episode. That's like really awesome attention to detail. I can chill Cardcaptor Sakura for days, but that's why it's my favorite show.
So my knee-jerk answer to this question was to say Space Patrol Luluco. Luluco feels like the purest distillation of what I love about Trigger, in part because it's super irreverent, it's funny, it's insanely well animated, it doesn't take itself seriously whatsoever, still makes you feel things. Best of all, the episodes are literally 6 minutes long, so you can watch season 1 in 18 minutes. I think they divided the show up into 3 episode seasons, which is one more layer of what's silly about this show. It's got one of my favorite things in the world, which is shots where there are tons and tons of background characters you'll never see again that clearly thought and character design went into. That's one of my favorite things in the world, and Luluco's full of that. Just the best vibes, I think, on the planet. In addition to being funny and explosive, it's like a concentrated dose of Trigger that takes 6 minutes to ingest. It is the purest form of what I love about this studio. So that's my answer. Please watch Space Patrol Luluco.
Neon Genesis Evangelion. I mean, it's a mecha sci-fi thrill ride with a bunch of religious undertones, which makes it already really interesting and exciting as it is. But the real star of the show with this is that the characters all feel so real. The way they interact with each other and bounce off each other have very long-lasting effects. There's all sorts of traumas that the characters carry with them throughout the entire show, and it just makes it so interesting because all these people that are very flawed are tasked with possibly defending the entire world from collapse. It's amazing.
My favorite anime is Evangelion, and it may be a boring choice, but I think it's great, and especially now with all the builds being out and Evangelion finally having a good ending. I think it's a great one, and I think it may be not the best, but one of my favorites, definitely.
As a car YouTuber in Japan, you might think my favorite anime is Initial D, but it's not. Although the single most viewed video on my channel is based on Initial D, so thank you, Tofu Delivery Boy. To me, the greatest anime ever is Neon Genesis Evangelion. Back in the late 1990s, it wasn't as easy to access anime as it is now. EVA was shown on public TV back in Australia, which was huge because it meant free, non-mainstream anime. I mean, it was non-mainstream back then. I became a huge fan, and when the original E of E movie came out, I thought I'd be fancy and ordered the official VHS tape set from Japan. I downloaded a TXT file of a translated script, printed it out, put the tape in the player, and then sat there in the dark to watch it. And then I had the strongest reaction I've ever had to watching anime ever. There's a scene where one of the main characters dies in a particularly gruesome way. But I read too far ahead and spoiled this death about 30 seconds early, so I'm sitting there in horror to what is about to happen. I felt sick. I've never had such a visceral and emotional reaction to any anime ever, before that or since then. There's so much more that could be said about EVA, but that's what did it for me.
What's my favorite anime of all time? Drifters, hands down. I mean, listen to this plot. God, portrayed as a smoking, sweater vest wearing middle-aged man sitting behind a desk and reading a newspaper, enlists the help of Shimazu Toyohisa, Butch Cassidy, Oda Nobunaga, the Sundance Kid, Nasuno Yoichi, Sisupo Africanus, and Abe no Seme to fight against Satan, who's portrayed as a dark-haired, dark-clothed brat of a 16-year-old girl constantly sitting behind her laptop, who she enlists the aid of Rasputin, Akachi Mitsuhide, Joan of Arc, Minamoto no Yoshitsune, Anastasia Romanoff, who are all led by a corrupted interpretation of Jesus freaking Christ. As these two forces fight to either save or destroy, respectively, a fantasy world full of elves, dragons, dwarves, goblins, and the like, who they themselves are subjected to a tyrannical, bigoted rule of humans whose former universal emperor was Adolf freaking Hitler. Look, I know that I've got a personal bias because of who I am, the kind of content that I make, but dude, what more do you want in an anime?
My existing favorite anime of all time would be Made in Abyss. Combination of its narrative, the characters, the design, the music. It's just this wonderful combination of all of these different elements, and also probably the way in which I watched it and enjoyed it and how I was feeling at the time. Hopefully, in maybe even a couple of months or a few years, I would have a different answer, and I look forward to that day. But until that time, that's what it is.
So my favorite anime ever is certainly Berserk, and I would highlight the 2012 movies because they do a really good job with adapting the Golden Age arc, which is probably the best arc in any manga ever written. Actually, as a matter of fact, just go read the manga because you won't regret it. You will see why so many people are in love with it. Guts is a really great character. He mixes a lot of, tough guy, action hero style of character with a very emotional human side to him, and he has a very interesting development throughout the manga, and yeah, You'll see what I mean.
Berserk, hands down, not even close. Guts is the fucking best. Fucking revenge, betrayal, religion, the best cosmic horror art you've ever seen in your whole life. Guts is just so beautiful. You get you get everything. It's the whole package. What else do you need? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. If I was making anime, I'd give up. Berserk's been done. Give up. It's done. That's what I'd say. Well, maybe don't give up. You know, I guess there can be other things that exist.
Absolute favorite anime has to be Cowboy Bebop. I know that's kind of a popular pick or overrated pick if some of you actually think that, but I think that having a special or favorite something, it has to connect to your life in a special way. Cowboy Bebop really does that for me. So I encountered it when I was a wee young lad. I had no idea what was going on, but everything was cool. The music, the animation, all the characters looked freaking fantastic, and Faye Valentine. You know, I was always naturally interested, but I kind of forgot about it. Then around age 20 or so, it was a really big turning point of my life, and Cowboy Bebop actually came back into it. So I decided to rewatch it, and it kind of had a big connection to the life that I had at that moment. And of course, the final thing has to be Faye Valentine, baby. I mean, the show's just a masterpiece. What can I say? And I even cried one single tear of manliness at the end.
What I think the best anime of all time is Cowboy Bebop, just because it has like nice and short, 26 episodes, amazing characters, amazing enemies, and also it's an episodic show. So for instance, you watch episode 1 and 2, skip a few, watch episode 5. Usually you still can kind of follow what's going on just because each episode kind of builds up its own story and then has a nice conclusion. Sometimes it'll continue a story on, or for instance, adds a new character along the way. However, it doesn't really completely destroy your experience if you skip too much or anything like that. And now my favorite anime. I love the 90s, I love the comedy, and then this kind of takes both. It's called Hare Tokidoki Buta. This anime I don't think was localized in English, which is unfortunate, but this anime was the first anime that Watanabe Shinichi directed. You might know him from a director for Excel Saga. And if you know Excel Saga, you know how crazy that show is. What's funny is Hare Toki Buta was originally just a children's book about this boy and his pig, and just nothing crazy or anything, but then he just took that source material and just completely changed it, and it's because it's so crazy, it's funny, I love it, and you should try to watch it if you get the chance.
My favorite anime is Trigun, for a lot of reasons, but chief of which is it's the first anime that I was able to watch and find without a recommendation. This was something that I went and searched out on my own because I love cowboys and I love old westerns. I also love sci-fi and space travel, and these were two of the things that kind of smashed things together for me. I absolutely loved it, and it was something that I could kind of claim as my own, even though it's enjoyed by millions of people worldwide. I also think that I kind of like it better than Bebop. That's not to say that Bebop is bad, but that's just to start some stuff in your comment section.
Not the best one, but it's definitely something you should all watch. It's called Kadekano, otherwise known as His and Her Circumstances. Basically, Hideki Anno, that Hideki Anno, Evangelion, was like, what if the next project we all work on was a really cutesy shoujo manga? And everyone's like, excuse me? Like, what? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. What you'll realize is if you go read the manga and you watch the anime, they're actually completely different tones. There is merit to watching both separately. The only thing that's not so great about it is because they basically blew their load on the budget for Evangelion. So like, cool, we got no money, so the series kind of ends on a weird note, and then I'd say go read the manga and finish the rest of the story. But the series is a joy from, in my opinion, from start to finish. Even for its flaws, I think it's more interesting because of its flaws. And by the way, because I'm a music composer for this stuff, it is one of the best anime soundtracks of all time. Don't quote tweet me on this. It's the best. It is so good. They basically just took the music from Kadekano and then put it in the Evangelion movies later on. That's how good it is. All the stuff in the Evangelion movies, they're like, oh, this is a banger song. Yeah, that came from Kadekano. Fun fact.
Now, although my entire life is surrounded by Pokemon, I wouldn't say that would be my favorite anime. It's probably Sailor Moon. I just think it's really cool to see like the character development, like the entire series, they're learning new moves and getting stronger. Although the show is kind of predictable, some of the surprises are pretty neat. Like finding out who Chibiusa is really cool, and the introduction of Sailor Saturn, like that entire arc is insane. And all of the main villains also are really cool because you have like Queen Beryl. That entire first season is just insane top to bottom. bottom. You have Queen Nehelenia, which is also equally, if not more crazy than that. And then you have Witches 5. I mean, there's not 5 of them now, but at one point there were 5 of the witches. Just in general, I think that Sailor Moon is just like a top to bottom, a really good show. There are definitely some low points for sure, but I really do think that it's easily my favorite anime.
For me, the best anime is GQ Shoujo Arjuna. That anime sort of embodied all that anime could become. The story was not only incredibly profound, but it was almost spiritual. And the soundtrack, obviously slightly biased, but I think that's probably one of the best soundtracks written to anime of all time, and composed by one of the greatest anime composers of all time. It was the first anime that made me question spirituality, made me want to be part of this industry in order to potentially one day get like 1% of what that anime did for me.
My favorite anime is certainly Bacano. It is the story of a group of time-traveling immortals and a train containing a monster. Now that said, the best anime is definitely Agretsuko. That's the story of an adorable young girl who becomes a professional kawaii metal singer. I am an adorable young girl who became a professional kawaii metal singer, and Agretsuko has plagiarized my biography. That's a criminal offense, and I'm gonna solve this gross injustice with the help of a group of time-traveling immortals and a train containing a monster! Either that, or I won't do anything. Anyway, I'm Ladybeard. Goodbye.
私はですね、オットタクシーです。割と最近見たアニメの中ですごい引き込まれたアニメで、わかりやすく言うと、ドゥラララと、ビースターズを足して割った感じですね。キャラクターたちもみんな動物で可愛いけどシリアスな感じで見れるので、おすすめです。みんな見てみてね。
Mob Psycho 100. I just absolutely love the main character so much because he's so unconventionally written. Like, he's not your average main character, and I really appreciate that. Art style is really unique as well. I just love how it's like so self-contained. The story writing is some of my favorite, and the character development is some of my favorite as well. And if you enjoyed the first season, you'll also enjoy the second season, and I'm super excited because a third season is coming out. Oh my god.
My favorite anime? Naruto. Definitely Naruto. Because every guy I met who hadn't watched Naruto was a bitch! To me personally, I think the ultimate #1 anime, the best one for me at least, has to be, hands down, no cap, KIRIJO wa Maid-sama. Yeah, so the animation isn't the smoothest compared to other animes, but the stories, the characters, even the flow of the anime overall, that's what makes me come back to it every single time. As much as I want to have like a remake or a season 2, I think this anime ended with a good wrap of conclusion. Therefore, I stand my case, best anime. Thank you.
Not everyone can truly grasp the seminal qualities of a show like Bacano. I wouldn't expect a layman to appreciate such subtle storytelling and interweaving complex themes. In fact, it's quite rare to have a show that speaks to the viewer's soul as much as it speaks to itself in almost a metaphysical and spiritual plane. My life changed for the better and for the worst after Bacano. That show touched me in ways I'll never forget or forgive. Not to mention the musical motifs and jazz-influenced OST, it offers a sonic palette the likes of which Barry B. Benson would be enthralled with. I'm just playing, it's King of the Hill.
There's an old phrase, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse, a playful expression, albeit grandiose. In anime like Beastars, such actions are commonplace, but can also lead to a student's expulsion, to an ostrich's ostracism, or to an antelope interloper's compulsory extrication. There are a lot of rules when you live in an anthropomorphized universe, as following rules are hard enough for humans. Throw in some claws and the frigid bite of being in high school, and also elating. Like being a Project Melody fan. I know what you're thinking. Mel, you're being weird again, and also you're a furry. But I assure you, I can like colorful ponies and not want to fap to their Patreon exclusive dojins. And I can like Beastars for what it is, and not just a fanfic. The realism, despite some people being giraffes, and the firefight with the Yakuza. Beastars is my shit. And the music is dope too.
Actually, my best competitor is around One Piece or Evangelion, but I'm gonna give this to Hunter x Hunter. It has beautiful plot, world, and the story pacing is just perfection. Sometimes, I just wanna be in a coma and wake up to see its continuation. Please wake me up when it happens, please! Wake me up!
My favorite ones that I watched when I was a kid
which is Vampire Hunter D. It does an absolutely excellent job of mixing dark with fantasy. The art is absolutely mind-blowing and a style I miss so much with all of my heart. The world is immersive and jaw-dropping. The idea that D is not the stereotypical vampire-esque character makes it so charming and built my desire to follow his story. All of the beautifully done enemy designs to the fight sequences, it was so cool. All of that wrapped in a tale of love yet completely lost hope. Vampire Hunter D is an absolutely phenomenal tale, from the story, designs, to music, and forever something that will stay in my heart.
I think my all-time favorite anime would have to be Cardcaptor Sakura. To me, it's a cute and great old time. Watching Sakura go through all these adventures with her friends as she captures cards that run mischief around her city. It's also wonderful to see Sakura grow as a person, becoming more powerful in her skills, and seeing how all of her relationships with friends and family develop. I love when Sakura tells her friends, especially herself, her usual catchphrase: everything will definitely be alright. It's super simple, but it reminds me that no matter how hard life gets, eventually, everything will definitely be alright.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood, not normal FMA. Don't worry, don't come for me. But what makes it my favorite anime is not the leads. I always judge an anime by how much I love the supporting characters. They always win me over in the end. And don't get me wrong, Ed and Al are amazing leads. The battle they go through mentally, physically, and spiritually, emotionally is riveting. It pulls you in, but what wins me over in my heart are the side characters. I would watch an anime on every single goddamn one of these side characters. Think about it. Let me riddle you this. An anime about Lady Armstrong and like her past? Shit, give it to me. I would watch infinite versions of this show.
And my favorite anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's my favorite because I consider it a masterpiece because it covers themes that are still current to this day. The world building, character development, and the astonishing animation, even though it's an old anime, is amazing. And there's a reason why I got pigtails on my model, dude.
I think my favorite anime has to be Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Why? Because I want to get stepped on. The anime is honestly a breath of fresh air because for me, I got tired of seeing the same generic tropes in every rom-com. You know, you have the generic tsundere that always hits the main character and like nothing ever progresses. And yet somehow they end up together even though they didn't do anything to work on their relationship together. That really pisses me off. The fact that you can see a massive difference between the two characters, mainly the character of Senpai from episode 1 to where the season leaves off on the last episode, it makes me really happy because I actually enjoy when a character progresses, you know? Even though there's only one season of the anime out right now, I've actually been up to date with the manga, and I have to say, the direction that the manga is going is really, really amazing, and I would very, very highly recommend you buy the manga and read it for yourself. As well as watching, of course. It has a really banger opening. Also, I want to get kicked in the balls.
My favorite anime is Gintama. It's just such an amazing show because it can go from 0 to 100 like really fast. The story arcs are so good, and I just love how they can mix in comedy, drama, and the sakuga is great. I love Gintoki. He's my husband though. I love it. It's like my favorite show ever. Definitely my number one.
The best anime, in my humble opinion, is Toradora. It's an amazing romantic comedy with beautifully human moments that rival even those of the hit television drama King of the Hill. Watching the characters grow together and discover things about themselves, their own feelings, and life in general is always a nice journey from start to finish. It is an undisputed masterpiece of Japanese animation and a classic. Also, anyone who says they don't like Taiga is a little baby bitch with shit taste. Thank you.
My favorite anime of all time is High School of the Dead because of the titties.
The goated anime is Welcome to the NHK. It deals with loneliness better than any medium I've ever watched, regardless of anime. And I think that's a topic that anyone relates to. Also, there's a lot of horniness, which is so gross. Ew. Goated.
The best anime is clearly JoJo. Anyway, guys, represent.com/PewDiePie. I got new merch.
My favorite anime is Parasite. I just love how it explores such a cool and creepy concept while also having like really, really great messages and morals to back up the plot. That's been my favorite for so many years at this point because it's kind of an oldie, but That's my number one.
My favorite anime is Code Geass, and it has been for many years now. I think it's just an extremely interesting story told beautifully. I think the protagonist is great. You don't know whether to root for them or root against them by the end of it. And it has an incredible ending that's not only one of the best in anime, but in general, just one of the best endings to any show I've ever watched. And it's super rare for an anime to have a good ending, because I think the majority of anime ends in a fucking terrible fashion. Just dog shit rushed endings. But Code Geass, it's an ending that you earn. You go on this long journey, this adventure through heaven and hell, thick and thin, and I just think everything pays off at the end, and it's so incredible.
It definitely has to be Detective Conan. This series was my first sort of introduction to the Japanese music scene and to J-rock and J-pop. Also gave me the inspiration to want to become a professional musician in Japan. Until then, of course, I love music and singing, but to actually dream of becoming a professional musician was sort of Detective Conan was my sort of starter for that. First ever CD that I actually bought myself was the Detective Conan opening and ending theme song sort of compilation album, and I still treasure it to this day. And so yeah, that's really a big part of the roots of me becoming a professional musician. And if you haven't checked out the series, it's super long, so it's kind of hard to get into it halfway, but I recommend the movies. The movies are really, really entertaining, so thank you so much. Rock on.
The greatest anime of all time, throughout all of the history of the world and mankind, is none other than Samurai Champloo. The plot is simple, yet the animation is top tier for its time. The characters are unique and diverse. And let's not forget the iconic soundtrack composed by Nujabes, Fat John, and Tucci, which allowed the modern sound of hip-hop combined with the classic Japanese samurai Edo period. Put together, chef's kiss. All in all, this anime is amazing. In fact, it's better than anything that anyone could think of. I don't mean just their favorite anime, I mean any thoughts they could have on their own. This anime is better than that. And I challenge anyone who thinks otherwise.
Mob Psycho 100, probably the best anime I've ever seen. It's got comedy, it's got action, it's got great animation, it's got great character arcs, it's got everything. Full disclosure, it's not even my favorite anime, but it is, when I look at it, I think I can't really find one bad thing to say about it. It's just really great and a great time, and I like it. Plus, it's even got a great English dub. Like, everything about that anime is just really good.
Mine is Nana. I watched it for the first time when I was like 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there. I think why I like it so much is because it's kind of different from a lot of anime that I'd seen previously. It's kind of more of a real life drama than the typical anime that you would see. It was kind of like peeking into the drama of older people, and now that I am older, when I watch it, it feels very relatable. In a lot of ways. Yeah, and originally I didn't like the art style of Nana. It was a big reason why I didn't watch it at first, but now that I've seen it, I absolutely adore the art style so much, and it's one of my favorite things about it. So yeah, Nana.
I still watch some anime today, but I definitely watched a lot when I was in high school. Stuff like Fruits Basket, Shin-Chan, Trigun, and I even had kind of a soft spot for a little bit of Cardcaptor Sakura, honestly. But my favorite anime ever is definitely Azumanga Daioh. I love this show so much. It's so funny. It has great music, super catchy. I used to watch it after I play like some super scary video game or watch a horror movie or something, and I'd put on some Azumanga Daioh to help me go to sleep. It's a very good, feel-good anime for me. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The second best anime, King of the Hill.
My God, are you still talking?
Tough question. Do I go with something from the heart, like Record of Lodoss War or Slam Dunk? Or do I go with something obscure and unknown, like Death Note or One Piece? Ultimately, no. I'm going with my favorite, which is the 1993 masterpiece, Ninja Scroll. Amazing animation and sound effects. Check. One of the most impressive collection of bad guys in a movie ever. Check. Most importantly, was the first time I've ever seen a cartoon boobie. I was 13 years old when this movie came out, and I never had seen an animation before or an anime, and it changed everything. It was the talk of the school. Everyone had to see it before there was Toonami, before there was Dragon Ball Z, before we got even Sailor Moon. Crown Jewel, the pinnacle. And if you haven't seen it, shame on you, because I don't know shit about anime, and I've seen that. Do yourself a favor and go check it out right now. It's great.
My favorite anime of all time is 男子高校生の日常. Ow! You thought I was gonna say 名探偵コナン, right? Well, you're not wrong. However, when I think about my all-time favorite anime, there are two factors that are very important to me, and those are comedy and replay value. You could just randomly watch any episode and they are all equally good. It has my exact favorite type of humor, which is this like really exaggerated boketsukomi, and the shitty animation not only makes it even more evergreen to me, but it actually makes it even funnier because they take such liberties in their physical comedy. I really appreciate that. So yeah, Daily Lives of High School Boys.
I think Dorohedoro is the best anime ever made. It's only one season and it's on Netflix. You probably haven't seen it, but you should. It's got a lot of fun, dirty, grimy stuff. So I would vote Dorohedoro.
My favorite anime is Haikyuu because it's got amazing character building and an amazing sense of humor that comes from those characters and not really from jokes. It's great at creating stakes and makes you interested in something that you're probably not interested in originally, which is volleyball. So thumbs up, Haikyuu, let's go.
I had always struggled to find my favorite anime because new ones keep coming up and all the ones back in 90s, they got special place in your heart. However, I finally recently found one. Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. I went to cinema 4 times so far, and I got 4 giveaways. Yeah, they do that in Japan. But that's not the only reason I went back. I also got 2 cups, a popcorn case, and this gigantic cup holder. Anyway, first of all, it's visually stunning. Mappa did yet another amazing job. And if you've read manga, you know the production added so much and it all works. The amalgamation of CG and hand-drawn art, voice acting, story, visual and sound effect, everything is top-notch. I was simply blown away by how much anime can deliver. It's been even said that this movie is the reason why the Spider-Man new movie didn't come to Japan soon enough, because they saw Jujutsu Kaisen Zero was such a huge competition and didn't want to fight it. I was like, really? Like anime versus live action show, which is Harry's biggest hit with Marvel and Sony. It's just a guess. Sounds like this anime reached that level.
One that's always been there for me throughout the years of watching new anime has been Eureka 7. The original, not anything else. The story behind Eureka 7 is unique and nice, you know, with the corals and Eureka as a person and a character and a creation. Just to sum up what I think about Eureka 7 and why I love it to anybody who hasn't seen Eureka 7 or it's been a while is the fact that it's don't meet your heroes, or at least don't have an expectation of the people that you do admire.
Eureka 7, a mech kind of mid-2000s type anime. It's got romance, it's got mechs, it's got dope house music. It's really shaped a lot of my music production. So this is like a huge inspiration to me. And of course, we got anime women. Let's go.
That's a tough one because I feel like it can change day to day. Like one day I might say Ava, one day I might say Bebop. And I think today I'm gonna say, I think maybe Perfect Blue. I think it predicted so fucking much about how we are online, and to boot, it's like one of the only legitimately amazing animated horror films. There's just an infinite amount you could dig into that movie, so that would be my answer.
私 YouTube で毎日ラーメンをすすり続けて7年目に突入しました。早速なんですが、私すするが好きなアニメは三田拓也先生作メジャーです。私すするも小学校の頃に野球をやっておりまして、ちょうどその頃にメジャーのアニメが放送されていたので、数々の逆境に置かれても常にポジティブ、そして全力で立ち向かっていく五郎のこの主人公感にはね、すごくこう憧れもあるし、とてもね、見ていて励まされる部分もあります。子供の頃に見ても大人になってからも楽しめるこの王道野球アニメメジャーをぜひね、 皆さんにもご覧いただけたら嬉しいですね。
Oh, that's easy. Outlaw Star. And the reason? Aisha Clan of the Katarl Empire.
Well, here's a great thing that I'm going to tell you. No, you will not have to watch this for 500 hours and then it'll get good. You will not have to sit there and watch these characters do goofy ass shit that nobody cares about, even for a minute. If you're looking for Demon Slayer for adults, to watch the anime Dororo, the modernized version, or Dororo, however you want to say it. It's a banger. One man cursed by his father, took away all his limbs, becomes a puppet man made out of swords, and with every demon he slays, he gets a piece of his body back. It is perfection. It's like 25 episodes. It's good as shit, and I hope you enjoy it.
Samurai Jack! Woo, yeah! Was a good cartoon, but the greatest anime of all time is Fist of the North Star. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I'm the only person who says this, but much like people say MF Doom is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, I'd say that Fist of the North Star is probably your favorite mangaka's favorite manga, or anime if you want to be more in with the point. Just think of all the massive influence it has. The brutal violence which would go on to influence Berserk, which is considered the greatest manga of all time. The fast-paced fighting which would influence Dragon Ball Z, the biggest anime franchise of all time. The art style and personality which would influence JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I feel like the current generation has kind of been pushed back as for everything new coming out. So I just wanted to show Fist of the North Star some love. And I could go on a 3-hour video essay right now detailing you how important it is and great it is and all that. But unfortunately, I only have 4 seconds left to listen.
A little bit unconventional, but my favorite anime of all time definitely is Bakuman, which you may say here, an anime about 2 manga artists making manga. That's the anime that you like. Ultimately, Bakuman for me is what made me like actually really be like, all right, I want to get out there and get out my dreams. I'm inspired to do great things and I will never give up. It's a very triumphant tale of 2 Japanese high school teenagers who have the dream. They know what they want to do. They want to make sick manga. They want to make the next great shonen manga and shonen jump or wherever they can get their foot in the door into the industry at. Maybe you'll become a complete fan of Mashiro and Mutoa Shirogi, just like me. Yeah.
My favorite anime is Attack on Titan because I don't know. That shit was just cool. Animation looked funny in the first season, but then you just like, it's kind of like Game of Thrones. You're just like, bro, the whole thing's so cool. Who cares? XD. Anyways, the whole thing just makes my pee-pee go wiggly and my tail wag. Basically because I looked at it and it was like, what? The music's so good too. I remember I used to be a little baby boy making little YouTube videos and I was like, oh man, the Attack on Titan music would really fit here. And it does. It fits. It fits. It fits.
If I had to choose, I'm gonna have to go with Miss Kobayashi because the amount of comedy, action, but also a little bit of drama kind of makes up for the perfect slice of life. The characters in this show are just so adorable. The intro and the outro smack. My best friend and I can watch this show all the time and not get tired of it. If you can enjoy a show and not get tired of the episodes, you don't skip anything, that's how you know it's your favorite anime. Also, I have all the manga. I have the figures. I have freaking Toru's tail.
Greatest anime of all time is, of course, none other than Azumanga Daioh. Azumanga Daioh, of course, if you're not familiar with it, is a slice of life comedy that follows the lives of a bunch of Japanese high school girls. Clearly something that's very relatable to me. Probably one of my most quoted moments of all of anime is the scene where Osaka falls asleep at her desk and daydreams about Chiyo's father, who's portrayed as a cat. He's learning English, so he pops up and he goes, "Hello everyone. How are you? I thank you. I wish I were a bird." That's why Azumanga Daioh is the best anime ever.
The best anime in my opinion is K-On! Because it's super cute, lighthearted, and funny. This is such a good show. 10 out of 10, it'll make your day. Actually, it'll make your whole year. I guarantee.
One that I'm choosing is one that just resonates, one that I can come back to, is evocative of so many emotions. Parasite the Maxim. The way it condenses, humanity, and the way it condenses so many different ideas in just one season, that is just so phenomenal to me. The fact that I can come back to this series and enjoy it and gain so much from it, have a different perspective, and know that if I was to, live life some more and experience more things, and I come back to this show, it still evokes that same sort of emotion, but also new emotions based on, you know, the life experience that I've had.
My favorite anime is Hikaru no Go. Biggest thing that stood out was every time that I watch it or read it and it's over, I get really, really emotional because it feels like I'm saying goodbye to like a bunch of friends. I watch Dragon Ball all the time. One of my favorite animes growing up was Iria's Arin the Animation, but Hikaru no Go, for some reason, it gives me like emotions. For that reason, Hikaru no Go, my favorite anime. Good manga too.
My favorite anime is Cowboy Bebop. I think it was revolutionary and amazing, and the stories were cool, and the characters are fascinating and original to this day.
My favorite anime, or at least the one I really like recommending to people, would probably be Mushishi. One, because I don't know how they did it, but they got like the voice actors they picked phenomenal, and they sound like the same in like the English dub and like the Japanese dub, which I think is really, really cool. I like how it focuses on how every kind of aspect on like the food chain and like nature, like ecosystem and stuff like that, it has like a role. And even though there might be, you know, bad side effects, it's just a byproduct of them existing, and they all are important in their own retrospective right. It's on my must-watch list for sure, so if you haven't seen it, 100% would recommend it. Really, really good.
Oh, and we're back, baby. Welcome back. If you made it to the end of this video, I highly, highly, highly thank you for sitting through this very, very long video. Hopefully it was interesting. Hopefully you not only got to know a couple of maybe new faces that you've never seen before, but you also got to know what kind of anime they like. And it really is fascinating just the wide range of shows that were brought up when I did ask all these 100 plus people this same question. And I think it's really freaking awesome that there is literally such a massive array of answers for such a simple question. And I think it really goes to show that, you know, anime really does touch people's hearts in all sorts of different ways. The variety is insane, and because of that, it appeals to so many different people. And I think, again, just the fact that we've had this recent explosion on the internet, especially amongst YouTubers, of YouTubers who just want to give this whole anime thing a go, I think is really freaking dope. And regardless of if you've seen one anime or 1,000 anime, the fact that you can come out onto camera and say, this is the anime that I like, I think is an awesome thing. But I would like to give a massive, massive, massive shout out to every single person who made it into this video. Thank you for joining in on this weird social experiment of mine. Of course, the links to every single person in this video is down in the description below, so do your boy a solid and go check out all 107 people who made it into this video. They're all amazing people, amazing creators, amazingly talented and wonderful people, so please go give them a follow and a gander. And I guess, let me know what the answer to the question, the greatest anime of all time, is down in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. And again, thank you for sticking around in this massive video. This took a very, very long time to make, and I'm glad it turned out well, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and hey, make sure to subscribe. It's a good time here. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Like your favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe for any banter, keep watching anime. Ciao!